Everybody, what I'm hearing right now is that we're talking about Town Spurs, which refused to sell Kaizer Chiefs players. We're talking about Velebai and the young man, which is Bratman, and we also still have Pulukwani there. They still have a police. And what I'm just receiving right now about Pulukwani is not actually. I'm sorry, about Cape Town Spurs is not that nice because they got relegated. And I have Mesh on the line right now. We're gonna talk about this and how the boss of Cape Town Spurs didn't do the job very well. XMS.
Mula, how are you, bro?
Mnandi nje yami wena.
Standard. Tangaza,
Ngiyakuthola.
relaxing.
Let's talk about this, man. The hot story right now.
Yeah,
So I wanted to ask you about Veleba. You still remember that saga on the last transfer window, where Kaizer this.
yes,
Yes. So now, as the club is relegated from the second tier, and we still remember that there is a law also from SAFA. I understand.
yes. Yeah, no, the law from SAFA is that once you are when you're outside of the second division,
Mm-hmm.
the players are declared amateur. They are not tied. They are not contractually tied to the team that they are playing for.
Mm-hmm.
And I think maximum contract is like 1 year. You can't give like 5 year and all those things.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's a big loss for Cape Town Spurs. It's a big loss in every single way. It's a big loss, obviously, in terms of business, but they could have done better. Sometimes you must not chase prices, you must chase business progress.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like they lost out to chasing prices because if Chiefs is offering 5 million for a player, or
Mm-hmm.
6 million, or 7 million, that's the same money that you win at some of these cups.
Mm-hmm.
Not long ago, Netbank Cup was 6 million.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure about the Carling Cup. I can't remember how much the Carling Cup is, but they're ranging at
Can't do
those
six
numbers. So,
something million.
yes, you see, so it's the same as winning a cup if you are selling a player for that amount. But what it also does is that it helps you manage your team in other ways, helps you to be able to acquire players on loan, helps you to be able to pay for other things that need to keep the team running. So I think that they held on to something to Velepai in a way that they thought he could change everything. And
Mm-hmm.
then they didn't use those funds that they could have gotten. They could have gotten those funds, then use them, but they also did get funds from Stellenbosch, with Cupido,
Mm-hmm.
right? And obviously it didn't do a great deal for them to lose such players.
Mm-hmm.
So
They
yeah,
also
it's
talking
a
to
bit
Kaiser
sad.
Chiefs.
Yeah, no, it's a bit sad, but also it's a positive for Chiefs.
Yeah,
No,
I
I'm
actually
just
wanted
saying they
us to
must
dive
go
into
and
that
fetch.
one. That man,
They
how does
must
it
go and
feels,
fetch the
man, when
guys.
you were crying, you guys, about this player, and then the owner was saying, no, 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 what is talking a lot on the social media, and then now you're getting him for free.
The problem with some of these teams, right? They like to make it seem like they are Sundowns, and they are not Sundowns. Some of these teams they need the money. You know, Even Chiefs needs the money. That's why they don't spend the way people expect them to spend.
Yes.
People expect Chiefs to be blowing all sorts of money. They expect Chiefs to be buying like Sundowns. They don't have the money like Sundowns.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
and worse off is a team that just came from, the second division. Weso it's a team that just like NFD side. The Motsepe Championship, and then from the Motsepe Championship, you still decline money. You're supposed to let go of everyone there and start over afresh.
Yes.
Give the boys, at least win from that thing.
Yeah.
Get the millions that you need to keep the team running,
Yes.
because that's where you are standing. You do not have the money, so you must sell the players. Supersport, even after selling all these years, look today they're gonna be Bloemfontein Celtic. Do you get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So there's different models, there's different calibers of teams. There are teams that need the money, there are teams that don't need the money.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So it's actually two players, and I heard Bartman is also on the list, and also saw that there is GS Galaxy and Stellis. They're also
Bartman,
entering the race.
yeah, no, I think that's a good. I feel like for Bartman is not necessarily a player that you can undermine. I think in a good environment they can do a lot. Such players they really can do a lot. And TS Galaxy we saw with Tejane, and we saw also with Mtaka. But also we've seen with also other youngsters, Devin Titus and all these other youngsters, that Stellenbosch is the place to be if you're a youngster.
Yeah.
TS Galaxy is the place to be if you're a youngster.
Mm-hmm.
They've got a setup, they've got a system that allows players to just phase in. There's a lot of players. I mean, you look at him, Tutuzi Shabalala. Yes, he has played in more games or maybe more competitive games than, let's say, other youngsters.
Mm-hmm.
But you can see for his position, he's not as developed as like Mtaka is now after leaving Chiefs, or as Tejane is now after leaving Chiefs at TS Galaxy. So
True.
now Chiefs is even now trying to buy Tejane back. With triple the price that they let him go for. It's such mistakes. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes it's such mistakes. We lack people that have an eye to see talent.
Mm-hmm. No, I
And
think.
it's very important when you have, especially when you have a coach, the coach must be able to see the talent.
Mm-hmm. True that. And going also to a police, you know, you have been fighting as Kaizer Chiefs fans to get him at Naturena, but the deal didn't happen. And then right now the club want to release him. And then we also discussed about a police. His performances also dropped, and also the contract. We once talked about it.
Yeah, I mean, with Apolis, it was always going to be like that, especially for someone who wants to leave the team. He can only hold on for so long because the team also needed to keep the end of the bargain. You've
Mm-hmm.
served the team. You're now looking for greener pastures. We're going to let you go. You
Mm-hmm.
cannot hold on to Apolis and do what you did with Velepai,
Ish.
where like he must suffer what the team is suffering. Let the player go, get money, invest that money. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
You can get, like, for example, with 7 million, right? You
Yes.
can get highly qualified coaches that are willing to take something like 300, 400,000 a month.
Mm-hmm.
And that can change your team in a massive, massive way,
Mm-hmm.
and it can be like, coaches that are more dynamic, unlike the ones that we're used to in the PSL. In the
Mm-hmm.
PSL, there's no dynamic coaching. There's very little dynamic coaching.
Mm-hmm.
There's very few teams that are excelling because of a system that they've implemented. A lot of the teams is just tum tum.
Mm-hmm.
It's just tum tum, low block tum tum, low block tum tum. And I see that some of the coaches, the younger South African coaches, they're developing into to being those sort of coaches where, they don't have their own system. It's like they cannot succeed unless they have a very good squad. And unfortunately, it's not like that for every team. And unfortunately, again, those are some of the things that the management of Cape Town Spurs was supposed to see. To see that, oh, okay, we can see that we cannot compete financially with Chiefs. But however, they're the only ones who want Velepai. There's no competition from Pirates. There's no competition from Sundowns. Let's just let them have them.
Mm-hmm.
If there's competition, the competition is coming from Skukune, but Chiefs is offering the better deal,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And I mean, you can also do those sell-on clauses and do all of those things. There's a
Yes.
lot that you can do with the contracts. But
Yes.
unfortunately, some of these teams, their leadership is so stuck behind with football that they are killing the team. And we've also seen some of these things happen also with Chiefs. It's only now that we actually relied on a coach and his technical team.
Mm-hmm.
But all along, we were just signing coaches and giving them our own assistants and goalkeeper coaches,
Mm-hmm.
And look, by changing that alone, look, now we have a cup, So you can imagine what can happen if we keep maintaining direction
Mm-hmm.
with modern football, or at least maintain the same direction where you allow the technical team to have the full control of the
Mm-hmm.
players that are playing. You can
Yeah.
imagine how much can be achieved.
Yeah, I know. I think what you're saying, it makes a lot of sense, and I also what you have mentioned is that actually these club owners, they have to learn from what Cape Town Spurs boss did. Actually, there was a big mistake, and so I just want to ask you the last question before we close that. Which out of three these players, which one do you really want to see at Kaizer Chiefs?
I think Velepai needs to come because we're lacking, you know,
Yeah.
we're lacking, some firepower up front.
Yes.
So I
So
think Velepai can be very good for us,
no,
and
actually,
I
out of
think
three,
Velepai can be
yeah, so out of
a
three, these
starter.
players, even though you cannot get two of them and then get one, you can choose available.
Yeah, no, Velepai, because I know that Apolis were not going to get Apolis. I want to say this to the Chiefs fans.
Yeah.
If you see that Chiefs is interested in a player, ne?
Mm.
And then Pirates and Sundowns are also interested in that player, just count us out. Unless the player really, really loves Chiefs and he
Yes.
says, I don't care what the situation, I want to play for Chiefs. That's the only way that the player will play for Chiefs. But in terms of, contract offers and transfers and money and what, just count Chiefs out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
No.
think the fans need to be a little bit realistic. Chiefs is not taking the direction that we're expecting them to take. Chiefs is taking a far different direction, and it's that direction where they are getting players that are capable. They are not necessarily getting players that are big names in every aspect, but they're getting players that are at least capable at what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that people must be a little bit wary, man, and understand that we are not going to get 5 or 3, superstars in the PSL.
Mm-hmm.
Pasadena, Apolis, and I don't know, maybe even a player from like today we saw with Namtejela that Pirates already took him.
Mm-hmm.
The guy was linked to Chiefs for the first time. Gizol, Pirates today they've taken him.
Mm.
So even like when you see Chiefs and Pirates fighting for a player, put Chiefs number 2. No matter if the articles can be saying no, Chiefs is about to sign him, Chiefs is about to sign him, just for your heart, Pearl,
Mm.
just put Chiefs number 2 option or number 3 option.
Mm.
The
Uh,
only time you'll know that the player will go to Chiefs is if they fail to go to Sundowns or Pirates.
yes, I think what you're saying is very true. We have witnessed that. Mesh, we are behind the time, bro. I really appreciate your time here on Playspot. I really appreciate it, also, for your analysis and also your pickings when it comes to players. When you say available is the only player which we can cry for right now. I really appreciate it, bro. I really appreciate it.
No, thank you, Mula, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you.